Good morning. We're here today for the in-custody arraignment calendar. Today is Sunday, March 22nd. Are there any special requests or requests for continuances before we begin?
Good morning, Your Honor. Darby Phelps for the state. It appears we have perhaps a couple of named victims present. I believe iPhone might be the named victim for Mr. Parker. And then it looks like we also have someone here on the Barrera case. So I would just request that we try to take those cases toward the top of the calendar if possible.
Thank you. And just to confirm, what are those names? I got Parker, and what was the other one?
It looks like for the Adrian Barrera case.
Thank you.
And good morning, Judge. It's Kim, the court clerk. On Barrera, they just said that they are family and they are observing.
Thank you. Defense?
Your Honor, no special continuances. The only thing is we do have an interpreter matter.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and begin with the interpreter matter, which was continued from yesterday. So first we have Bernardo Terrero Vasquez, followed by DeAndre Parker.
Ok, tenemos la primera causa entonces, Bernardo Tevero Vázquez. This is Jimena Fini, certified court interpreter Spanish, NVFXP 610. Good morning.
Good morning. We're here today for a bail hearing. Probable cause had previously been found. The public defender's office had been appointed to represent the defendant. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment.
Ok, bueno, estamos aquí entonces porque esta había sido un aplazamiento, se encontró ya causa probable, el abogado de oficio fue nombrado, ya tenemos la evaluación previa al riesgo que ya fue hecha.
Just for the record, the defendant scored as a 5 on the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, or a moderate risk.
Ok, para que conste en acta, en la evaluación previa al riesgo, él salió con un puntaje de 5, que es un puntaje moderado.
Just for the record, the defendant is present utilizing the services of a previously sworn and certified Spanish interpreter.
Para que conste en acta, él está aquí presente y está siendo asistido por la intérprete jurídica en español que ha sido previamente juramentada.
State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Fiscalía está lista para proceder con la audiencia de fianza.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state's requesting bail in the amount of $1,000 with pretrial services supervision if he's able to post.
Ok, la señoría, la fiscalía está pidiendo una fianza de $1,000 con una supervisión previa al juicio, si él puede pagar ello.
Mr. Terrero Vasquez only has one prior arrest. It was in 2010 for no valid driver's license.
El señor Tevero Vázquez solamente tiene un antecedente que fue del 2010 por no haber tenido una licencia de conducir válida.
However, he does have an immigration hold.
Sin embargo, él tiene una orden de retención con inmigración.
And if he's released to that hold, there is a high risk of future non-appearance.
Y si él llega a ser detenido entonces con esa orden, lo más probable es que él no pueda asistir en el futuro aquí a las comparecencias.
So the state's requesting bail in the amount of $1,000.
Por lo tanto, la fiscalía pide un monto de fianza de $1,000.
Thank you, defense.
Gracias, defensa.
Your Honor, I will be asking for an OR release despite the immigration hold.
Su señoría, yo voy a pedir que salga bajo palabra de honor a pesar de que él tiene una orden de retención con inmigración.
As we can see, he has a very minimal criminal history.
Como podemos ver, él tiene mínimo de antecedentes penales.
He is not a threat to the community.
Él no es una amenaza para la comunidad.
And the immigration proceedings are it's a separate proceeding that does not bear anything on his criminal history.
Y esa orden de retención no tiene que ver nada con sus antecedentes penales, eso es una diligencia separada.
There is a possibility that he could work out something with the federal government so that he can bail out of that proceeding.
Hay una posibilidad de que él pueda trabajar eso con el gobierno federal y poder lidiar con esa diligencia.
So that is why I'm asking for an OR release today.
Por esa razón pido que lo dejen salir bajo palabra de honor hoy día.
And I'll submit on that, Your Honor.
Con eso lo dejo a su criterio, su señoría.
Thank you. Based on the facts as presented, the Nevada pretrial risk assessment and the factors as outlined in the bail statute.
Ok, entonces basándose entonces en los hechos, en la evaluación previa al juicio de Nevada y los factores de la fianza,
The court does find that the state has met its burden by proving by clear and convincing evidence that bail is necessary in this case.
por pruebas claras y convincentes, entonces creemos que la Fiscalía sí ha probado de que la fianza es necesaria en este caso
In order to ensure the appearance of the defendant.
para podernos asegurar de la comparecencia del imputado.
Bail will be set in the amount of $500 bondable with a 10% cash option.
La fianza será fijada en $500 con la opción del 10% que pueda pagar de esa fianza
And no other conditions will apply.
y no va a aplicar ninguna otra condición.
Just for the record, the defendant is required to make all court appearances and obey all laws.
Para que conste en acta, el imputado tiene que asistir a todas las comparecencias en el futuro.
And if the status regarding the immigration holdup is changed, then that does satisfy the requirement for a change of circumstances to address bail.
Y si llegase a ser que debido a la orden de detención con inmigración, y si eso llegara a cambiar, entonces ya las condiciones no van a existir en este caso.
We will go ahead and set a 72-hour hearing.
Vamos a fijar una audiencia para 72 horas.
And Madam Clerk, when will that be?
¿Cuándo sería eso, señorita actuaria?
March 27th at 9:30.
El 27 de marzo a las 9:30.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And Madam Interpreter, I believe that is all the cases we have with you
Thank
today.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have DeAndre Parker, followed by Grant Abbey.
And Your Honor, Mr. Parker asked to waive his appearance, but I'm prepared to proceed.
Thank you. We're here today for a bail hearing. We'll go ahead and waive the defendant's appearance for today's proceeding. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that he scored as an 8 utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, it looks like we have Miss Evans, the named victim present. I'm not positive that that's who that is, but I do believe so. Ma'am, if you could just confirm for us with a head nod.
Yeah, that's me.
Thank you. So, Your Honor, we continued this from yesterday to make contact with Miss Evans. We did speak to her mother. I know Miss Evans can speak to whether or not she wants a no contact order, but I do have some information from her mother that I think is important for the court to hear. So as Your Honor can see, Miss Evans appears today from a hospital room. She was initially on a ventilator and life support, but it appears that she's stable now. This is pursuant to her mother. So Mom says that she, before we were able to communicate with Miss Evans, Mom told us that she does want a no contact order for her. Mom's been fighting to get Miss Evans away from the defendant since Miss Evans was 16 years old. At one point, Miss Evans had to refuse to stay away from the defendant, and they had to take additional measures to keep her away from him. And that just really goes to the power and control dynamic that this defendant has had Miss Evans in for many years now. So she also told us, Miss Evans' mother told us that Miss Evans' stepfather confronted the defendant on FaceTime for battering Miss Evans a couple weeks ago. He told the defendant to keep his hands off of her. The defendant brandished a pistol and threatened him over FaceTime. And this is consistent with some of the facts that we see in the probable cause narrative in this case, Your Honor, specifically that the defendant threatened his mother and Miss Evans that he was going to come to the residence and kill them. He sent photos of a firearm in his lap in a vehicle. So we did see the defendant this morning on the battery causing substantial bodily harm case in Sparks Justice Court. The court did set bail in that case. I believe it was $25,000. So this case, Your Honor, the state is requesting $250,000 bondable only, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post, and house arrest with GPS prior to release. And the reasons are multiple, Your Honor. So first of all, Miss Evans has been a victim of this defendant for many many years. As far as criminal history, he scores an 8 on the risk assessment, but he has been in prison for the last 9 years. He was released in January of this year. He's got a P&P hold, supervision date starting of December 2025 and ending December 2028. As I mentioned, he does also have that domestic battery resulting in substantial bodily harm case out of Sparks Justice Court. And the Nevada Department of Corrections website shows him holding a piece of paper indicating a discharge date of January of this year. Since then, he has picked up an arrest already out of Carson for contempt. He is on supervision for a 2023 felony conviction for battery by a prisoner. That's not listed on his the conviction itself is not listed on his criminal history report, but the supervision is. That's out of White Pine County, which is where the Ely Correctional Facility is located. Also very relevant to this case, he has 2018 felony convictions for pandering, 2 counts of that. That's what he's been in prison on for the past since 2018. He was also arrested for sex trafficking of a minor, 2 counts of that. Both of the victims were 17 years old. One of them he brought over from Oakland. The other he met on social media, similar to what we see in this case, where the defendant was trying to recruit who, unbeknownst to him, was an undercover detective using Miss Evans' cell phone. So prior to that, 2017, he's got a felony conviction for ex-felon in possession of a firearm. He was sentenced to 12 to 60 months suspended with mental health court. He was arrested and removed from mental health court and had his probation revoked. He also had a pretrial failure to appear in that case. And then in 2014, he's got a felony conviction for attempted robbery, 12 to 32 months. His pretrial own recognizance release was revoked twice in that case. So Mr. Parker has a lengthy history of non-compliance on pretrial supervision, but more importantly, and relevant to setting the high bail in this case, which the state would request a detention level bail, would be his history of violence against women. He's clearly not going to stop. He's just been released from prison for the same offenses, and here he is doing it again and doing it with a level of force. Miss Evans reported that he's been violent with her. He's punched her, been violent with her many, many times. And in this case, or in the case from Sparks, he pushed her down a flight of stairs in front of a room full of people. So just incredibly brazen. So the state does believe, as I mentioned, that a detention level bail is appropriate. The state's requesting $250,000 bondable only, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post, and house arrest with GPS prior to release. Oh, and no firearms or weapons as well.
Thank you. And do you have any additional information as to, I know that you indicated that you are requesting detention level bail, as to why that amount is appropriate as a detention level bail?
Thank you, Your Honor. So I don't have any information. I can look up and see what his bail was at in 2018, but I just felt like that was so remote that it really wouldn't give us too good of an idea. I picked the number. It sounds like we know that he is engaging in sex trafficking activity. Typically, we see with sex traffickers that they're able to get funds from their victims. I'm not saying specifically Miss Evans, but it sounds like it's possible that he has other women that are possibly funding his lifestyle. And so the $250,000 amount I set with the hope that it would be enough.
Thank you. Defense?
So, Your Honor, in this case, I understand the state's asking for a detention level amount of bail. We have nothing that shows that $250,000 is appropriate. He's been in prison for the past 9 years, so he doesn't have any funds. He's only been out for about a couple of months. So Your Honor, I think that $50,000 is more appropriate, especially in light of him having a bail in the other case as well. So he's going to have to post everything to be able to get out. He's not currently employed. He doesn't even have a current phone number right now, and he resides with his mother, showing that he doesn't have any funds to be able to afford $250,000. So I think that's extremely disproportionate. He has a hold already. He's not going to be getting out of custody. Looking at this case, I think $50,000 is appropriate because of that. And also, I do think a no contact order with the victim is entirely appropriate as well. He understands he cannot be contacting her whatsoever. No weapons or anything like that. It's entirely appropriate. But just looking at everything, I really, $50,000 is appropriate, Your Honor. And with that, I'll submit.
Thank you. Ms. Evans, the law affords you an opportunity to be heard. If you wish to speak here today and provide a victim testimony, I'm just going to have you say yes first, and then I will swear you in.
Yes.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you shall give today shall be subject to the penalty of perjury according to laws of the state of Nevada and shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And before you begin, you can put your hand down. I just want to make sure that you were very clear that today's purpose is a bail hearing. So just to determine whether or not the court should impose a bail as to whether or not the state has met its burden with respect to the danger to the community, the danger to yourself, or risk of flight. Additionally, if you have any safety concerns, things of that nature, is there anything that you wish to say?
There's a lot I have to actually say, actually. I've been in the hospital for like a week now because like DeAndre Parker, he got out and he just tore so much mentally from me and just like tore from me and just kept taking and taking and taking from me. And I finally just had like a mental breakdown at my mom's house, like they had me on life support as she had told you guys. Like I have bruising, like I could show you guys all up and down my body because of him pushing me down the stairs and everything.
Your Honor, I'm objecting because for today's purposes, it's to determine if a no contact order is appropriate and if bail, it sounds more like a sentencing argument at this point.
Thank you. I appreciate that. However, the court will overrule the objection as the safety to the victim is part of the consideration for today's proceeding. I will note, and just for the record, the court will consider as to whether or not this was addressed in a separate matter. However, the court will permit this testimony. Please proceed.
Yeah, I don't want him out. I think $250,000 is appropriate.
Thank you. Based on the facts as presented, the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, and all the factors contained in NRS 178, the court does find that the state has met its burden by proving by clear and convincing evidence that a detention order is appropriate in this case, as there are no least restrictive means that can be imposed in order to ensure the safety of the community, and specifically the named victim in this case. Bail will be set in the amount of $200,000 bondable with no 10% cash option. The court is concerned with respect to whether or not that is an appropriate amount. However, given all the facts and circumstances as has been discussed and addressed, including where the defendant lives, the defendant's lack of means of support, as well as the concerns regarding the extreme safety to the named victim, the court is setting bail in that amount. I will note, just for the record, with respect to setting amount, the history of noncompliance, the history of violence involving this named victim, the prior similar offenses involving other victims, and specifically history of violence involving women. So that will be the order of the court. If the defendant is able to post that bail amount, I will require that he be supervised by pretrial services and must check in within 24 hours of release. I am imposing the condition that he cannot possess any firearms or weapons based off of the allegations and community safety, as well as based off of his prior criminal history. I am requiring that he be subjected to residential confinement, where a GPS monitor must be installed prior to release. I do find that that is necessary given the safety to the named victim in this case. Additionally, as of immediately, I am imposing a no contact order with the named victim of Lois Evans. And ma'am, can you just confirm that you spell it Lois, last name Evans?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we'll note that for the record, and that will be pursuant to this judicial release order. So he must stay 100 feet away from the victim, as well as have no contact in any way, shape, or form, as well as it will be pursuant to statute for 120 days. That will be the order of the court, and we will go ahead and set a 72-hour hearing, which will be set for March 27th at 9:30 a.m. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for being present here today.
Of course, thank you.
Next, we have Grant Abbey, followed by Jacob Felder.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 14 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
So, Your Honor, we attempted to reach out to numerous involved parties yesterday. We haven't heard back from anyone, so the state would request a one-day continuance.
Defense?
Your Honor, I would object for the record, but I understand pursuant to Marcy's law, I don't have a basis.
Thank you. I do find that there's sufficient good cause to grant a continuance on the basis of Marcy's law in order to ensure that the named victims do have that opportunity to be heard. And so, sir, we are going to continue your bail hearing. So your bail hearing will be continued until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jacob Felder, followed by Adrian Barrera.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. We're here today for first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 7, which was overridden to a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state's requesting bail in the amount of $8,000 with pretrial services supervision with testing for alcohol if Mr. Felder is able to post. So obviously, first of all, just the facts of this case. It's a road rage incident, it sounds like, with a victim who's a stranger who was attempting repeatedly to remove himself from the situation, and Mr. Felder continued to attempt to engage him, including by opening his vehicle door and attempting to pull him out of the vehicle multiple times. This was actually recorded on cell phones by bystanders, and it's been posted on the internet enough that I've seen it now. As far as criminal history, 2023, he's got a misdemeanor arrest for failure to appear. He's got a misdemeanor conviction for tampering with a motor vehicle. He also has, oh, Your Honor, I think we should trail this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and trail this upon that request. So, sir, what that just means is we're going to call you towards the end of the calendar, so I'll have you sit back down. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next, we have Adrian Barrera, followed by Jesus Garcia. Good morning. We're here today for first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 2 or a low risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
So, Your Honor, I'm requesting to continue one day for victim contact. I was hopeful that maybe that this was the named victim present, but my understanding is it's actually family of Mr. Barrera. I'm looking at the arrest date and it appears it was yesterday at 11:17 in the morning. We haven't been able to make contact with the named victim yet, and so for that reason, I would request to continue to tomorrow.
Thank you. Defense?
Your Honor, I'd object. If it's from 11:17 yesterday, that's almost 24 hours. That's more than enough time to get in contact with the victim.
Thank you. So based off of the law, the court does not even need to find a good cause, as this is still tomorrow would be within the 48 hours. So I will grant the request for continuance. I will note that I do find that there's good cause on the basis of victim contact in order to ensure the ability to speak with the named victim in this case, pursuant to Marcy's law. The constitutional rights of the defendant with respect to having a hearing within 48 hours will still be met. And so we will go ahead and continue this until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. And thank you to the community members for being present, but this case will be continued until tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, so you're going back.
Next, we have Jesus Garcia, followed by Gerald Gardner. Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as an 11 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So this is an interesting case, obviously. Mr. Garcia wanted to be arrested and essentially presented the small bag of methamphetamine to officers so that they would arrest him on a parole violation. He does have that PMP hold, scores an 11. He's got, well, shoot, I think we need to trail this one too, Your Honor.
What's the basis for the trailing on this one?
His criminal history, I probably think we should trail
Oh,
that.
That's fine. We can, sorry. We'll have you sit.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and trail this matter. And next we have Gerald Gardner, followed by Eric Pilska. Good morning. We're here today for first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 10 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. So it looks like Mr. Garner was arrested on a failure to appear traffic warrant, but other than traffic matters, his most recent criminal history is a couple of misdemeanor convictions from 2017. So for those reasons, the state's not objecting to an unrecognizance release with pretrial services supervision with testing if he's, well, with pretrial services with testing.
Thank you. Do you have any additional information besides this case with respect to prior history of substance use?
So let's see, Your Honor. I see that he has a misdemeanor conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia in 2017. He's got a DUI second in 2015. And then he's got some earlier misdemeanors out of California, which I didn't write them down, but it sounds like he had a DUI first at some point.
Thank you. Defense?
Your Honor, I wouldn't object to the OR release.
Thank you. The court will grant an unrecognizance release here today. Mr. Gardner, I do find that there are least restrictive means that can be imposed to ensure the safety of the community. You will be required to be supervised by pretrial services, so you must check in within 24 hours of release. So you must check in on Monday. I am requiring that you do 3 mutual support groups per week. So those are things like NA, AA, or the non-secular versions, and you are required to provide proof to pretrial services every week. The court is not going to require testing. I do find that there is not a sufficient nexus based off of this case in the criminal history. So that will be the order, as there are least restrictive means that can be imposed, which is the 3 mutual support groups per week. That will be the order of the court, and you will be required to appear for your arraignment, which will be on April 9th at 9 a.m. So you must appear in Reno Justice Court on that date and time, as well as make all court appearances and comply with these conditions, or else a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Eric Polska, followed by Shayna Shinks.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has not been appointed to represent you, as you indicated that you would retain private counsel. Have you hired an attorney to represent you?
I have not. They basically said that I made too much money to use a public defender, but I would love to.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. So are you planning today? You have not hired an attorney, is that correct?
Not reached
Okay.
out.
And then assuming you were to remain in custody, are you able to make any money?
No.
Thank you. I do find that you qualify for the services of a public defender, so the Washoe County Public Defender's Office will be appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that Mr. Pilska scored as a 4 or low risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's not objecting to an unrecognizance release with pretrial services supervision with testing for alcohol and no contact with GSR.
Do you have a history related to substance use?
Yes, Your Honor. So he has a fairly lengthy DUI history. He's got a misdemeanor conviction for DUI out of California in 2022. He's got a misdemeanor arrest for DUI in 2018 out of California that's showing dismissed, and a 2017 misdemeanor arrest for DUI out of California also showing dismissed.
Thank you. Defense?
Your Honor, I would not object to an OR release. Obviously, the conditions of drug and alcohol testing, they're appropriate.
Thank you. The court does find that there are least restrictive means that can be imposed in order to ensure the safety of the community. So the defendant will receive an own recognizance release here today. Sir, I will require that you be supervised by pretrial services. So you must check in within 1 business day of release. So tomorrow, you are required, based off of the stipulation of the parties, to be subjected to daily alcohol testing. So you cannot use any controlled substances or alcohol unless you have a valid prescription. So make sure that you get set up with, it'll be AverHealth as quickly as possible, and you will be required to be tested daily until further order of the court. You are required to appear for your arraignment, which will be on April 9th at 9:30 a.m. So you must comply with all these conditions, make all court appearances, or else a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
I do.
Thank you. Shayna Shanks, followed by Mark Peltzer.
Shanks. Your Honor, Ms. Shanks refused. Can we continue it one day, please?
Thank you. Just to confirm, you're not able to proceed here today in her absence?
Your Honor, I guess I spoke to her, but she's not here now. I don't know if she wants to proceed or not. I
Okay.
that information yet.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and proceed with the first appearance. Just for the record, probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent the defendant. On that information request, we will go ahead and continue the bail hearing until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Thank you. Next, we have Mark Peltzer.
Oh, Your Honor, he waived his appearance, but I am prepared to proceed.
Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent the defendant. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that he scored as a 10 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state's requesting $10,000 bail on this case for Mr. Peltzer with pretrial services supervision and no weapons. If he's able to post that, he does have 3 pending cases. He pled guilty to charges in each of those cases. So most recently, he's got an arrest, an ad book arrest for unlawful act related to human excrement. He pled guilty to battery on a protected person on January 22nd. Also in 2025, a felony arrest for assault on a protected person by a prisoner, so same charges we've got here. He pled guilty to battery on a protected person on January 22nd of this year as well, and then a felony arrest in 2024 for robbery on an elder person. It looks like he pled guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery also on January 22nd. Now he's got a number of misdemeanor convictions as well between 2024 going back to 2022. It looks like probation violation arrest throughout. He's got a battery in 2023, and it looks like his he failed. Let's see, he didn't complete community court and then was revoked in April of 2024. He's got, let's see, in 2022 he received deferred adjudication on a possession of a controlled substance case. He did not successfully complete diversion and ended up with the felony conviction with probation. So based on his very high risk of continued criminal conduct, the state is requesting $10,000 bail, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post, and no weapons.
Thank you. Defense?
Your Honor, in light of the other cases that he has, we will be submitting on bail.
Thank you. Bail will be set in the amount of $10,000 bondable with no 10% cash option based off the facts as presented in the Nevada pretrial risk assessment and the factors as outlined in NRS 178. The court does find that that is fair and appropriate. I will note the history of violence, the likelihood of conviction, as well as the history regarding contempt or compliance related offenses. That will be the order of the court, and we will the court will require that if the defendant is able to post that bail amount, that he be supervised by pretrial services, must check in within 24 hours of release. And I am imposing the condition that he possess no weapons. As that was the request of no weapons only, that will be the order of the court. We will go ahead and set that 72-hour hearing, which will be March 27th at 9:30 a.m. Thank you. State, which case do you request to call next?
I think probably either of them, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and call Jacob Felder, followed by Adrian. My apologies. Jacob Felder next. Good morning again. We're here today for first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found. The public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of that Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 7, which was overridden to a higher risk. State, please proceed with your bail request.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I already went over the facts with Your Honor, which give the state concern, obviously. But getting back into his criminal history, so he's got a 2023 misdemeanor arrest for failure to appear, a misdemeanor conviction in 2023 for tampering with a motor vehicle. And the reason I asked to trail the case is because he has a felony arrest in 2023 out of Oklahoma for sexual exploitation of a minor via telecommunications. That case does not have a disposition. 2022, he's got a misdemeanor arrest for a bench warrant, 2017, a misdemeanor conviction for DUI second, 2014, a misdemeanor conviction for domestic battery, 2012, a misdemeanor conviction for DUI, 2000, another misdemeanor conviction for DUI, and a separate misdemeanor arrest for DUI, which was ultimately dismissed. So he was booked on a DUI in this case, in addition to the other charges. I think as Your Honor has just heard, he does have a pretty lengthy history of DUI, including a DUI second conviction back in 2017, and then 2 prior DUI convictions and another DUI arrest. So this is his 5th lifetime DUI arrest. And again, the behavior in this case was very concerning. The state is requesting bail in the amount of $8,000, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post with testing for alcohol.
Thank you. And just to confirm, you are not requesting a no contact order.
So, Your Honor, I actually didn't see that I had the victim's full name. So I intended to, but I don't know his name.
Thank you. Defense?
Your Honor, I'm going to be asking for an OR release on this matter. Looking at the NPRA score, there's some information that we verify that actually brings that down. In regards to his address, we confirmed with his mother that he does have an address in Sparks, Nevada, and he has lived there for 1.5 years. So that brings that NPRA down by 2 to a 5 right now. We also confirmed his employment. He works as a supervisor at Nevada Barricade and Sign, and he has been there for 1.5 years. So that brings it down now to a 4, I believe, 7, 6, yeah, to a 4. So he does not score very high. I understand it was overridden due to prior criminal history, but when you look at that, you can see that he is an individual who has substantial ties to this community. He's an individual who has gainful employment as well. There are least restrictive means than keeping him in custody. He has no objection to drug and alcohol testing to make sure that he is sober. I think that's extremely important because we can see that alcohol was a very big nexus to the incidents in this case. He's been in the area for over 40 years, meaning that his entire life and everything is here locally. This is not an individual who is going to be fleeing to another jurisdiction because everything's here. So, Your Honor, with all that being said, I think in this case, an OR release is entirely appropriate with drug and alcohol testing. Obviously, a no contact order when we find the name of that individual. This is an individual who has contact with that person at any other times. So I think that won't be an issue here as well. So, Your Honor, unless there's any other questions, I would ask for an OR with drug and alcohol testing, no contact order.
Thank you. The court does find that there are least restrictive means that can be imposed in order to ensure the safety of the community. So, sir, you will be released here today. You will be required to be supervised by pretrial services, so you must check in within 1 business day of release. So that'll be tomorrow, Monday. You are required to not use any controlled substances or alcohol, including marijuana, unless you have a valid prescription. I do find that there's a sufficient nexus in order to ensure the safety of the community to require that you cannot use, as well as that you be tested. The only information I had heard was with respect to alcohol, so it will be for alcohol only. And that will be the order of the court, so it'll be daily alcohol and alcohol only. The court will require that the DUI rant be conducted. And I will also note that pretrial services shall remove testing and supervision if the defendant scores as a low risk utilizing that tool. And that is the least restrictive means in order to ensure the safety of the community and the named victim in this case. That will be the order of the court. So, sir, you are required to appear for your arraignment, which will be set for April 9th at 9 a.m. So you must appear in Reno Justice Court on that date and time, as well as comply with all these conditions, obey all laws, and make all your court appearances, or else a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Next, we have Jesus Garcia.
No.
Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as an 11 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, please proceed with your request.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I was getting into Mr. Garcia's criminal history. He's got a felony conviction for sex offender, failed to register in 2021, felony conviction for sales of a controlled substance, and a felony conviction for assault with a deadly weapon. Those were all separate cases in 2021, I believe. Prior to that, 2008 felony conviction for trafficking in a controlled substance, 2006, another felony conviction for sex offender, failed to register. 2004, he's got his underlying sex offense, felony conviction for statutory sexual seduction. And then he's got quite a bit of misdemeanor history out of California that preceded 2004. So as I mentioned, this is an interesting case where Mr. Garcia wanted to be arrested. I think that makes him a high risk of continued criminal conduct. And that's not even considering his criminal history, but he also does have that PMP hold. So the state's requesting bail in the amount of $1,000, pretrial services, supervision with testing if he's able to post.
Thank you, defense.
Your Honor, I'm going to be asking for an OR release due to the fact that he does have that parole and probation hold. So no matter what happens in this case, he's not going to be released until parole and probation figures out how they want to handle that matter. Looking at the amount of drugs that was found on him, it was a very small amount, 0.4 gross gram weight, meaning that that was weighed with the container itself, meaning the actual drugs itself is even lower. Looking at the facts of this case, what I'm hopeful for is there will be a beneficial negotiation where he pleads to some type of misdemeanor on some conditions, meaning that he will get the help that he desperately is asking for. With all of that, Your Honor, he has been in the area for about 20 years as well, meaning that he does have substantial ties to this community. He did have a job over at iMusic Warehouse, but unfortunately, because he's in custody, he's probably not going to be able to work there anymore. I would like for him to be able to have the opportunity to get out of custody if parole and probation lifts that hold so that he can continue to work and also deal with his other issues as well. So, Your Honor, with all of that, I am asking for an OR release with drug and alcohol testing, of course.
Thank you. Based off of the facts as presented, the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, and the factors as outlined in NRS 178, the court does find that the state has met its burden by proving by clear and convincing evidence that bail is necessary in this case. Bail will be set in the amount of $1,000 that will be bondable with a 10% cash option if the defendant is able to post that bail amount. I will require that he be supervised by pretrial services and must check in within 1 business day of release. I will require that he be subjected to random drug and alcohol testing. So, sir, you cannot use any controlled substances or alcohol, including marijuana, unless you have a valid prescription. I do find that there's a sufficient nexus. Just for the record, the court did consider least restrictive means to include a direct transport. However, given the defendant's criminal history, he is not eligible for all of the residential or the inpatient treatment programs that this court is aware of. So unless he has a substance use evaluation that indicates something else is appropriate, the court just does not have that information to be able to find least restrictive means at this time. That will be the order of the court, and we will set a 72-hour hearing, which will be set for March 27th at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, and I believe that is everyone. Just want to confirm before we conclude today.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Judge, you too.
Please stop recording. Okay, I will put them in your folder.
Perfect. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Sweet. All right. Thanks so much.